What's up, Ocean? You got Matt here, coach of your Montreal Milotics, bringing you our team builder, I guess, and our battle for round number 2 of the Token Minorities Summer Showdown Surge format. Today we are facing off against Under the Radar, aka Kelly. Kelly was actually one of the creators of the P4G Next Generation, one of the leagues that we were actually invited to about a year ago at this point, actually. Wow, no, it's been like 8 months, so almost a year. But yeah, Kelly's a pretty good battler. He's in a couple other leagues. I believe he's in the P4G main league. I believe he's in the NPL. Like, I could be mistaken. I don't really remember. But he is a good player. And he beat Aaron, around 2-4-20 in the round 1. And Aaron is a good battler. We all know that. And honestly, I'm not surprised because they're both really good players, and it was a good match. It actually came down to like a flinch at the end. So if you guys haven't checked it out, make sure to go and see how it ended up going down. As for us though, we ended up beating, I believe it was Ace Trainer Josh last week, and we're now in the gold bracket as well. And the way it works now is we actually gain an extra 10 points towards our drafts. We have 60 points now, and we can draft an extra 2 mons, but then we have to drop mons to make sure we have between 6 and 8 Pokemon on our roster. So I decided to make a couple transactions. We actually had, I believe it was the 9th pick out of the 16 coaches that were in the gold bracket. And I can't believe it fell all the way down to me, but Kommo-O actually fell all the way down to me, which is incredible. For 12 points, I'm happy to take that. It's just an incredible Pokemon. Really, it doesn't really have many answers defensively because it's got great typing. It's got Dragon Dance, it's got Double Dance with Autotomize and Swords Dance. It's got Rock Polish as well. It's got access to a ton of great stab options, a ton of great coverage moves, and its stats overall are amazing. So I'm happy with getting Kommo. And then we also got Cresselia for another 12 points. So that puts us 4 points over. No, what is it? It puts us 24. That costs 24 points. So it puts us 14 points over our limit. So we need to make some drops. Cresselia is just so fat, guys. It's honestly, if he doesn't have a good Ghost type or Dark type, then or even Bug type, we're gonna be able to just run through a bunch of teams, and that's what I'm trying to do with Cresselia here because this thing is so fat. So because we picked up these 2 Pokemon, I actually had to drop 3 Pokemon. I actually ended up dropping Girder, which is why I decided I wanted Kommo because it's just a much better fighting type. I dropped the Delphox, and I dropped, what else did I drop? Lantern. So I dropped those 3 Pokemon, and we already have our Water type in Sharpedo, so that's cool. We also have a fighting type now in Kommo. We don't have a Fire type anymore, but Cresselia is there to replace the Psychic typing that we lost with Delphox. Now let's get into the matchups because my opponent has a really good team, and I might as well just show you everything right now. I'm going to try and find it on Discord again before I lose it. But basically, I'll go over what our reasons were for bringing everything. So we have a team of Alolan Ninetales, Sharpedo, Palossand, Rotom-Mow, Kommo-O with Z-moves, Cresselia, and Alolan Sandslash, while our opponent has a team of Cloyster, Blaziken with Z-moves, Mismagius, Vikavolt, Florges, which he actually picked right after we picked Kommo. We really sniped him there. Mudsdale, Alolan Executor, and Audino. So he's got a pretty cool team. His additions, I believe, from this, well, I guess, portion of the draft was just Florges. I think he picked up 2 mons, but he only ended up keeping Florges, which makes sense. Florges is a really good Pokemon, and it also gave him the best opportunity to kind of counter team me, I guess. But Kommo still rips him apart. It really does. So I'm going to go over the team that we actually brought this week. I'm going to try and find it again. Let's see. I just want to make sure I'm not getting anything wrong. So let's see. Where is it? I should be more prepared for this. Or we should be. There we go. Okay, so to start off, we'll go with our Sharpedo here. It is a Life Orb with Speed Boost this week, of course. You see Lonely Nature, obviously. The speed that we have on it is to outspeed Blaziken. Obviously, yeah, so it's just to outspeed Blaziken. I could have done the same thing, but been like a hasty nature, but I decided to go with Lonely because it would have maxed out our attack, basically, and our special attack. Surface for the Mudsdale, the Cloyster, and the Blaziken, it does more to those than Poison Jab or Crunch does. Crunch is for Mismagius and Vikavolt, and Poison Jabs for Florges and Eggy, so that's kind of standard right there. Moving on, though, we have our Alolan Ninetales, which is Light Clay this week. We have the speed for Mismagius. We have Blizzard and Moonblast because they just do really good damage to my opponent's team. Aurora Veil, obviously, and Hypnosis is there because on the off chance that he sends in his Cloyster on my Ninetales, and he hasn't taken any chip damage and he has a potential Focus Sash in place, I need to go for Hypnosis to ensure that he goes to sleep. I don't have to if my Cresselia is still healthy, but in the event that it's not, like in one of my mocks, Cresselia got really worn down by a +2 Blaziken with knockoff. I actually could have lost the game if he didn't outspeed Sandslash or something like that. So anyways, it was this was beside the point. Anyways, so he basically, not Sandslash, Cloyster's a big threat to me, and I want to make sure I had a way to kind of handle that, and Hail is going to be there, Veil is going to be there, and Hypnosis is going to help out with that too. Moving on though, we have our Sandslash here, which is Chopper Berry this week, Icicle Crash, Earthquake, Iron Head, and Shadow Claw. Speed is for Scarf Mismagius, Creeping +1 Sharpedo. So basically, if our Sharpedo gets the +1, a Scarf Mismagius will outspeed it if he decides to invest properly. So because of that, I want to have the speed to outspeed that. And that's really all I need to outspeed. It's the only Scarfer that I think he's going to bring. I believe he's also the fastest Scarfer on his team, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, we have the Trouble Berry there because Vacuum Wave is such a big threat from the Blaziken. Specs Vacuum Wave could, I think, Oko me. Life Orb Vacuum Wave does not Oko me ever, which is really good. And we can fire back an Earthquake and Oko that thing, which is just awesome. Moving on though, we have our Rotom here, which is Choice Scarf. He doesn't have good switches to Rotom. His ground type is Mudsdale, and that's completely obliterated by Leaf Storm. And because of that, I don't think I need Leaf Storm really. I think I just need Trick, and I think I need Shadow Ball and Hidden Power Ice, as well as the Volt Switch, obviously. We have the speed there to outspeed Blaziken. That's the primary thing. He has a pretty big gap between Blaziken and Mismagius. So Rotom is there to fill that and just kind of Volt Switch around, trick everything that's not his offensive mons, like the Cloyster, like the Blaziken, what else? Like, just pretty much any wall that he has, the Audino, Eggy, pretty much anything except for like his offensive mons. So yeah, I kind of anticipate him to be Assault Vest Vikavolt because in both my mocks that came, and it didn't put in work, but it was a pretty decent check to Rotom because I couldn't just Volt Switch around freely and get into something better because Vikavolt, even being Assault Vest, was a really good answer to my team. Moving on though to one of our new additions, we have Kommo-O here with the Poisonium Z, Clanging Scales, Drain Punch, Poison Jab, and Dragon Dance. Our speed is there again for the Blaziken. We have enough investments in attack so that we always KO max defense Florges at +1 with Z Poison Jab, always. We also have Clanging Scales there, which is there just to make sure that we have something to hit Mudsdale, Eggy, and Cloyster, because a +1 Dragon Claw or +1 Drain Punch does less than a Clanging Scales at neutral to Cloyster, to Eggy, and to Mudsdale. So I need to make sure I have something to hit that. Honestly, if I didn't have to deal with Mudsdale, I probably would have brought Dragon Claw instead of what is it, Clanging Scales, just to be safe. I originally had Ice Punch over Drain Punch, but I switched it over for the Drain Punch just because I felt like Audino was a bit more of a threat than the what is it called, Mudsdale. And then finally we have our Cresselia here. Originally I was going to be a Psyshock, Energy Ball, T-Wave, and Moonlight set, but then Tails told me to go against that because a Calm Mind Crest just wins this game. So I have Calm Mind, Psychic, Rest, and Sleep Talk. Basically, if we have behind Veil and he doesn't have Taunt, we just win the game, 100%, because he has nothing for this thing. Mismagius, cool, but if that thing's chipped down, Psychic at +2, or even just being behind Veil, completely just obliterates that thing. So yeah guys, that's our team. Let me know who you think will be the MVP of this match, and I'll get back to you guys as soon as we finish the game. Alright guys, here we are back with the game. As you can see, he brought the Cloyster, Audino, Blaziken, Vikavolt, Mismagius, and Florges. No Mudsdale, which means I can freely lead off with my Rotom, and I think that's the best play here. I'm just going to go ahead and start this game up. Huge thank you to Drake for sending us the team by genning it, and huge thank you to AARon2420 for recording our battle, man. Thank you, really appreciate it, guys. I love the background, it looks awesome. So we lead off with Rotom here. Sorry, no nicknames, I just couldn't think of anything on the spot, really. If I get to the finals, maybe I'll try to nickname something. But he leads off with his Cloyster, and I'm thinking potentially Scarf or Sash lead here with like spikes. So I go for the Volt Switch here. It is my best play. I'm going to Volt Switch into the what is it called, Cresselia, if he decides to stay in, but he switches out into his Florges, meaning that Volt Switch comes freely, and I can go straight into my Alolan Sandslash actually, because I don't think he's going to have hidden power fighting, and even if he does, we outspeed and do like 60% to him with the Iron Head if he's max defense. So he reveals being leftovers, which is really good information, because now I know he's not Kebiaberry or Babiri Berry, so my two super effective moves can just do a ton of damage to him. So I go for the Iron Head here, and I was really debating going for the Earthquake, predicting the Blaziken, and it does come in, so unfortunately we don't get that prediction right. And at this point I'm thinking, okay, I want to be really ballsy turn 1, so I'm going to pause it. Do I go for the Earthquake here, predicting him to go for the Swords Dance, because my only switch in this thing is my Cresselia. That's all I have. I don't want to go into the Kommo-O as he sets up to +2 and then goes for a Z-Brave Bird, because that's going to be scary, and Clanging Scales 1 Oko, Drain Punch 1 Oko, so I'm a little worried about that. So I decided I'm just gonna be ballsy and go for the Earthquake right here, as he's actually going to go and whip out the Vacuum Wave, and this is where our Trouble Berry comes in handy, and we live this hit so easily, guys. Look at that. That is just over 50%, and the Earthquake comes out, and it's going to do a ton of damage, guys. It's an Earthquake from Sandslash, got like 120 attack. I believe it's 120 or 100. I could be wrong, but we KO him, and yes, it was a critical hit, but the crit really didn't matter, guys. it really didn't matter. Moving on though, he's going to actually go into Hat here, which is his Miss Magius, and I have a free switch into my Ninetales here. He can't really True Comb me unless he Specs or Life Orb, so I'm going to switch out now into my what's called Ninetales, and it's going to help me get some chip damage off on this thing because of the hail, of course. In comes our shiny Ninetales with Snow Warning, of course, and he's actually going to reveal to be, well, he's going to reveal to have the Shadow Ball. Obviously, Shadow Ball is kind of the one move I knew was coming on this thing, maybe Dazzling Gleam 2 actually, were the two moves I knew were coming on this thing, but he does just under half, which shows me he is definitely not Specs or Life Orb, and he gets the Leftovers Recovery back there, which means, of course, he doesn't have a boosting item, which means, again, that I can go for the Aurora Veil and just get a ton of utility out of it, full 8 turns, and you're going to see he's going to go straight for the Shadow Ball one more time, and look how low this does. We start off at, what, HP? We start off at 91, and he does what, 27 points of damage to us? That's insane. That is nothing. That's great. So now at this point, I can go for a free Blizzard here, and Blizzard should do about half of this thing, maybe a little bit less depending on his spread. He does have pretty good defenses, well, pretty good special defense, but Blizzard does, like what, 45% there, 40% as he goes to the Dazzling Gleam, which again is going to make so I can live another Shadow Ball in the hail. So at this point here, I'm going to go for another Blizzard. I was debating, do I go for Moonblast or Blizzard predicting the Cloister? And I go for the Blizzard again. I felt like I was in a good position. I didn't have to go for the Moonblast and risk a potential switch into, or potential him staying in there. So I go for the Blizzard here. And unfortunately, it's not going to do very much to him because it's 4 times resisted. But it does a decent amount of damage, enough, and I can go for Hypnosis now, as he reveals to be Scarf Cloister. Now, the reason I didn't switch out here, I kind of let him have my Ninetales. The reason I didn't switch out was because I didn't feel like I needed Hail that much to win the game, because if he was Scarf, he'd have to lock himself into Rock Blast, and I can go freely now into my Kommo and click Dragon Dance to get to +1. And at +1, guys, it's pretty much game with Kommo, and if not, I still have Sharpedo in the back to clean. Sand Slash, even though it's kind of slow, it still outspeeds some things like his walls, so I can do pretty good there. But right here, I'm going to click the freest Dragon Dance of my entire life, and guys, look, it's at this point, it's pretty much game. So I go for the Dragon Dance here, and I can fire off my Poisonium Z because it's guaranteed to take out the Florges from this range, no matter what. Out of 100% of the time, if he's max defense, because he's not Kebi Berry, we're good to go. So I'm going to fire off the Z Poison move, and he went for the Protect, which is kind of strange. I didn't think he was going to go for that, unless he did predict the Z move, and he thought he could live a Z move, a +1 Z move into a Poison Jab at +1, because he didn't do that. Sorry, if he did think that, I could have just gone for the Dragon Dance again on his Protect, and that would have given me a +2, and at that point I wouldn't even need my Z move, and I can just obliterate everything on his team. At that point, clicking Clanging Skills would be kind of pointless unless it was against the Cloister. So yeah, anyways, we go for the Acid Downpour here, and that does a small chunk of damage, but he should be in range of the Poison Jab, because I did a little bit less than I expected, honestly, or a little bit more than I expected, honestly, because of the Protect. But I go for the Poison Jab here, and if he's switching out, he's just taking damage from whatever. At this point, down goes the Florges here. It's just that might have been a roll, but at the end of the day, we have, I think, 2 turns left of Veil, or maybe 1 turn left of Veil, and honestly, guys, at this point, it's just we're in such a good spot. He goes to What Are You, his shiny Audino, and I'm just going to click the Drain Punch here, as he's going to fire off Protect. Again, I could have kind of gone for the Dragon Dance, because behind Veil, Dazzling Gleam would have done nothing, but I don't know what his set is. I just want to make sure he didn't have potential Reflect. So down goes Aurora Veil, and I'm just going to click the Drain Punch here. This should Oko a special defensive Audino, but he actually ends up having the Chople Berry, so we're going to do very little to him here. That honestly did like 30%, which is insane. And at this point, he can now go for the Dazzling Gleam, and you're going to see this is why Kommo-O is crazy, and this is why Audino isn't that good, because that's 4 times effective when we live that hit. So I'm going to go for the Drain Punch one more time, and this thing has a ton of HP, guys. It has so much HP, so we're going to be able to get that all right back. And at this point here, I believe we actually, we crit him there, but that crit really shouldn't have mattered unless he was maybe, I don't know if he was max defense, max HP, bold, that would have done anything. But my calc said it did like, if he was special defense, it did like 116 min. So yeah, anyways, he goes into Bug here, his Vikavolt, and I'm going to fire off the Clanging Scales because I just want to make sure if he is Assault Vest or not. And from the damage that I'm seeing here, he is definitely Assault Vested, unless he's just like max special defense, max HP. But he's going to go for the Air Slash here, and that's not going to be able to KO us. It never had a chance to KO us, I don't think, and we can go for the Poison Jab right now. And Poison Jab at +1 does more than Clanging Scales if he is Assault Vest, which he is, and we're going to be able to bring him down all the way down there and poison him. So we're getting pretty lucky this game, guys. And honestly, we definitely don't deserve it, but Kommo-O really did its job. It chipped down the Vikavolt enough, and we could have just sent in our Sharpedo and started clearing the game from there, because everything would have been range for what Sharpedo wanted to do. So he's now going to die to the Poison here, and honestly, I kind of wish he didn't, because that way I can just win with Sharpedo right off the bat. But instead, I have to go straight into my Rotom here, because Rotom can just freely Shadow Ball everything that he sends in. If he goes into his Cloyster, I click Volt Switch. If he goes into his Mismagius, I click Shadow Ball. So Shadow Ball will be able to come out here, and it's not going to be able to 2 KO. Or something able to OHKO, I should say. And that's because Mismagius is just so fat, especially defensively. It does about 50% though, and in comes the Shadow Ball here. This also is not going to do very much to us because, again, we're Rotom. Rotoms are pretty bulky. He gets the special defense drop, but that means absolutely nothing. And Leftovers will heal him back up a tiny bit. But at this point, guys, the game is ours, because even if he does KO us with the... even if the Shadow Ball doesn't KO the Cloyster next turn, and we die to the Icicle Crash, Icicle Spear? Yeah, Icicle Spear. We have our Sharpedo in the back, which has Protect just in case, and we have Surf to be able to OHKO that thing no matter what. So in comes Clam, the Cloyster. I'm going to click the Shadow Ball over here. Shadow Ball will be able to bring him down to where he's for sure in range of his Surf, even though it's 4 times resisted, and we're in such a good spot here. Now, he actually told me after the game he ended up misgenning his Cloyster. He ended up being, what is it called, Shell Armor, so he can't be Crit instead of the Icicle, not the Skill Link. But it actually matters, like, it doesn't matter at all, because all the hits that he needed to get the KO, he did, and if he needed 5 hits, he got 5 hits. So he goes to Icicle Spear here, and you're going to see he's actually going to get all 5 hits to kind of seal out the game. And if he got a crit, then it would have been kind of scary. That's why I was kind of thinking, do I want to protect? I'm like, you know what, it doesn't matter. I have other mons in the back that can handle my Sand Slash 4 times resist that move, and I can just OHKO back with the Earthquake or the Iron Head. So, yeah, anyways, you're going to see he's going to be able to let us live on 34 health, and we're going to go for the Surf here, and that, guys, will be game. And with that, we pick up a 3-0 win, and we move on to round number 3 of the Token Minorities Summer Showdown Surge format. So GG to Kelly. Was a really fun game. Really unfortunate about some of the hacks. I think the only one that really mattered was the Vikavolt poison, and yeah, I'm going to pause this right here, but let me wait a little bit longer right there. And yeah, so the only one that really mattered was the Vikavolt poison and the crit there, because it really helped chip that thing down. But Sharpedo could have just come in there, it would have been in range of a Crunch, and I could have just won the game from there, because everything was in range of a Surf or a Crunch or a Poison Jab from that range. So yeah, guys, that is this battle. I don't know who we're facing off for the next week. The games have not been played. We also have to do a couple rounds of drafting first, but next Sunday there should be another battle going up. But anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button and, of course, subscribe to the channel. And check out Kelly's side of the video. His link is in the description below, just like the rest of the coaches that are participating in this, in the Token Minorities Summer Showdown Search format. They're all down there, so make sure to go check them out. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.